Good morning to everyone. I would like to thank IVCA first for personally giving me this honor to be here. Really delighted and grateful for the opportunity. And welcome, Prem sir. It will be a privilege to interact with you over the next 20 minutes. Just to set the context, I think this word carbon neutrality and climate change has been at the forefront of investing at least for last 5 years, and it has got more and more accelerated. Jayant Bhai is not here, but he presented in Surat in one of the conference, and that really caught my attention that if nothing is being done to solve this problem, at least 50 cities in the world will have more than 60 degrees of temperature. That was a slide which he presented. And that kind of struck in my head that, that this is a really big problem which is coming up. Maybe it is not very well appreciated. That was maybe some 6-7 years ago. And that's how I started really taking interest in this sector. And we then, of course, a lot of work post that. And it's been a darling sector from an investor perspective and from a return perspective. And as our Honorable Minister said, and as Ruchi ma'am said, that the regulator has done a fabulous job of facilitating smooth capital, both in listed, unlisted, and on the debt side. So, and whenever I go, ma'am, outside India, I proudly say that this is both RBI and SEBI have done such a fabulous job in this country that we are really proud of who we are and not shy of what we used to be 25 years back when the regulation in India was not so tight. And I think it is very, very widely appreciated in the world. So this opportunity is here, and I just, before I get my questions to Prem, I would like to say that what has worked really for me as an investor, that if you are able to identify a really large theme, right, which has a tremendous tailwind of 2-3 decades, then investing becomes relatively easier. Just to give another example, like people who identified internet in year 2020, year 2000, as per our calculation, more than $25 trillion of wealth got influenced and generated by that one word internet. Whether you talk of Google, whether you talk of Facebook, Amazon, XYZ, a lot of these companies got only accelerated because what happened in the internet era. Is carbon neutrality the next big theme which is there ahead of us, and where we are in capturing that opportunity? I have an honor and privilege to have the most distinguished personality, Prem Bhai. Welcome, and maybe we can start with your views on this whole carbon neutrality subject and how you are viewing this at SBI Ventures, and what lies ahead for investor if someone is willing to take a 10-year view in this sector.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And first of all, thanks IVCA for organizing this inaugural event, and thank you Rajat ji for having me here. So when we talk about climate change, now I'll go back to what you said, that different cities witnessing more than 60 degrees Celsius. That was the kind of projections or the kind of thing that we are looking at if we don't do anything. Now we are in Mumbai city, so it's financial capital, and lots of finances are, that strings are here, I would say. Have you thought about Mumbai city? World Meteorological Organization during one of its reports says that between 2012 and 22, So the sea level went up by around 4.5 millimeter per year. That is more than 3 times that happened between 1901 to 1970. So have you ever thought that what is going to happen to cities like Mumbai or such cities? Probably not in that sense. I'll go back to US, the California fires. You must be looking at the havoc created by the fires in California, and it started off at the outskirts, and this year it is in the metropolitan area. So unless we look at these things, unless we plan, it's very difficult to achieve what we want. We talk about zero net neutrality by 2070, and like Shruti said, it's $10 trillion is required, much more than what our GDP is there. When we talk about China, China is earmarking around 19.6 trillion by 2060, by which time they want. And US, they'll require 20 to 30 trillion in next decade. But again, like earlier, you must have heard one of the earlier speakers talking about US, 20th January and the changes after that. I'll take a step back. Okay, now the new normal is drill baby drill, but then when we look at the numbers of US, they did somewhere close to 13 million barrel per day in 2024 before the new administration came. So now we are at an inflection point where whatever we have been trying to achieve through the policy measures and through various measures, now we'll have to see that government support, that will be there, but maybe the degree is different. Now we'll have to see how the market is going to reward. So now the shift is moving towards not only government policies, but towards market, towards the private capital, and how these are allocated to different geographies. So it's a long way to go, sir.
Sir, isn't it really commendable that in spite of a blip in the policy in the US government, specifically after the Trump administration came, India is still pursuing its path. There is absolutely no policy wavering in India, and there is absolutely no even blipping of our eyes, right, if I may say so. And our direction is very clear, as Honorable Minister said, that we have already achieved our goal of 50% contributed by renewable sources already 5 years ahead of schedule. You are at the thick of action. What is the government doing more, and what is the government's foresight to really encourage this sector? If you may, from a policy standpoint of view, and also from creating a really better investment climate perspective.
Sure. So when we talk about the policy, we are looking at US policy where the IRA may be repealed, or we don't know what will happen. And think about it, $370 billion incentive, which was supposed to catalyze 1.7 to 2 trillion in private funding. And we are looking at the kind of policy, it's not there. Whether it will be there or not, no, we don't know. Compared to India, we have already heard about our Honorable Minister. So government is doing so many things. Government is kind of, we have recently seen that, I'll go a step back. So there are large institutions which are there. We need funding for so many things, infrastructure. When we talk about the matured companies, funding is there. So bank is willing to fund because they have a power purchase agreement, they have everything in place, the risk is less, bank is there. Then we have in between some companies, some innovations being done, which are doing things, but visibility is there. That also, they get funding from either banks or private equity and private credit. Then there are some innovators where the funding is not there. Now government is trying to help in all the sectors. So when we talk about government funded in government funds, so we have seen Ministry of MSME's SIDBI fund of fund. We have SRI fund, Ministry of MSME through NSIC and NVCFL, which is giving support to the different startups. Now, around 1,500 crore has already been given in SRI fund, and that has capitalized around 7.5x in MSME. Already 11,000 crore has been generated. Now think about it, 10,000 crore SRI fund, we are looking at 5x private fund, so 10,000 becomes 50,000, the multiplier effect, and then on top of that, if we talk about 3 times debt, so it's 2 lakh. So the government is putting the policy framework, government is giving the funding for catalyzing the private capital. We have recently seen 1 lakh crore RDI. So Research Development Innovation Fund is already there, and climate action is one of the themes. So policy wise, yes, we are on track. Honorable Minister have already given in details that it is one of the most stable, rather the most stable economy in the world with stable policy. Now the funding. Government is doing their work. Now the private funding is required, and for that we are here. So how to capitalize on that, how to attract private capital, again, we'll have to showcase. So we have this NEEP fund we have. We are celebrating 10 years of NEEP fund this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. And it started off in 8 low-income states for infrastructure development in the areas of waste management and water and sanitation and all these. And then we have grown from there. So, and the portfolio companies, they have attracted capital from the GICs and IFUs and whatnot. So this is the ecosystem which we will have to create. We'll have to showcase that yes, we have the capability, we can attract funds, and then we can take it forward.
So at SBI Ventures, you are managing today what, roughly 33,000 crores. If you can elaborate on your strategy as how you are deploying, what you look at when you make investment into any sector or subsector or any VC fund which you give money to, and where do you think SBI Ventures will be 10 years from now?
Thank you for asking that. Like I have said, we started off with the NEEV in the climate space or impact space. And NEEV has been, I would say NEEV has been pretty successful in taking these companies forward. And we not only invest, we just handhold them. Like private equity is about that only. So you provide the ecosystem, you take the companies, you work together with them, and then you put in place the systems and processes, the various mechanisms like ESG is there that we are very keen on. So you do all these things and then they grow, you grow with them together. So in SBI Ventures, yes, the NEEV platform is there. Then we have, we are managing government and NSIC's SRA fund, that also I have mentioned. And again, the other fund is Swami Investment Fund, which is in the real estate space. And we have been doing a commendable job there also. I was sharing that we have returned around 35% of capital from that. And overall, yes, the theme is the impact should be there. But then when you are going to attract capital, they want return. They are not only for impact. And believe me, the large LPs of the world, they have different sections looking at impact investing. So when you go and talk to them, they'll direct you to the impact section of their scheme of things. And they look at things very differently. So what we always try to deliver is the return with the impact. And I'm happy to share that the return in the NEEV funds are not at par, but better than many commercial funds. Why is it so? Because the technology is there. We invest in the technology, green tech technology funds. They are like any other investments. So how to go about it going forward? How to build the capacity? How to maintain that? So always you try to achieve higher. So we started off with small, then we doubled it. Now we are planning to have another fund, which will be again double of that. So that way you grow. If you ask me, ideally, I would definitely like to have one fund of fund on climate. So that is my wish. I don't know whether when it will be getting fulfilled. So, but that wish is there. Again, we are working with different stakeholders, different LPs, and with the government also. So overall, I see SBI Ventures on a good growth path in the next 5 to 10 years. And we have come a long way, and we'll continue that path.
Sir, since Ruchi ma'am is here, any changes which you think from a policy perspective, either from the regulator or from the government side, to encourage this entire ecosystem of P and venture capital in India? Because it has played a formidable role in really providing capital to our country and really creating hundreds and thousands of entrepreneurs. Because I remember when I came in 91, 92, business was reserved for only top 20 families in India. And from there we have come a really long way. That every nook and corner you can really find a very successful entrepreneur. And the system of P and VC has played a crucial role. So any suggestions from your side, any inputs to make this industry more vibrant, or any demands also which you can make to regulator?
So that is very tricky now. So coming from SBI, it's very tricky. But anyways, like we have already shared.
We can only request, sir.
We have already discussed that regulation and regulators are way ahead these days. So they will not wait for you to approach. We were talking about blended finance, and blended finance has this mechanism of distributed return to various investors and all, and we have that already. So, and we should not wait for the kind of events to request the regulators. We should engage with them on an ongoing basis. So morning I met ma'am. Ma'am said, I met her first time and she said, we'll meet, let's meet. So that is the way we should take it forward. But yes, ma'am, we look forward to more kind of hands-on approach, and whatever is required. Earlier it used to take more time, but with regulators also aligning with the markets and sensitized with the needs of the investors and overall global perspective. And regulators are also looking at different regulators in different geographies, like RBI and Fed. They talk to each other. So they observe and they try to bring best practices. So we'll take it forward, ma'am, whenever it is required. And thank you for all your support to the industry and the community, ma'am.
So, ma'am, since I have the opportunity, maybe I can raise one small point with you. I have obviously spoken and been in touch with number of foreign investors. I think when they are coming in India, ma'am, I think this whole disclosure about the ultimate beneficiary, I know there have been issues in the past, is actually refraining a lot of really big institutional investors from outside India. Because when you say that you have to disclose ultimate beneficiaries, some of them are very large pension fund and some of them are their clients. So maybe I think you can look into this subject as to how we can encourage really genuine people to come forward, and regulation should not become kind of a constraint, or it should not become a kind of hiccup for them to come. Sorry to raise this here, but I am sure this will be very useful.
Yeah, so we are also aware of this. We are conscious of this representation, if I may say. While I would also like to highlight that the number of foreign investors which are still coming to India every month, we are having large number of registrations, and the ups and downs which keep being reported in the press are due to several reasons. UBO may not be one of them, but still, having interacted with the industry, we are already working on a trusted foreign investors framework. So we call it Swagat, and where we are looking at some funds which, for which we can have some kind of carve-outs, and they can have a smoother process of registration and
That's
compliance.
exactly what I
So
was
we are
saying,
looking
I
at it, and we have already taken up with the relevant regulators and departments of ministry wherever, and we are.
Ma'am, I'm giving you direct feedback. I had an opportunity to go to these Nordic countries, and wherein we met some really very large families, and they gave this specific feedback that, coming to India, we have absolutely loved the opportunity, we would like to be there. But when they tell us to disclose the ultimate beneficiary of our clients, it is becoming really difficult for us to explain, because it's not there in most major developed countries. That kind of requirement is not there. So I had promised them that at an appropriate forum I will raise it. So I am sorry to raise this.
We will also connect offline, and I will let you know what all we are looking at.
I am sure, sir, ma'am, you guys have addressed many more humongous problems, and this is not a big issue. But thank you so much for your response. Sir, there are a number of institutional investors who are here, and since you have had a privilege in the journey, and as they say, experience is essential in investing. Would you like to share some advice, some experience of yours, so that possibly their journeys can be more smoother?
Yes, so institutional investors are very key. Like when we talk about investing in clean and green and climate, so it's a long gestation period, and the returns are not that always not that great. That is the thinking which we start with. But believe me, if we look at earlier examples, talk about solar energy. In 2007, whatever solar energy was there, we are having that green hydrogen these days. Had investors not supported, had the government not given some kind of inputs and sustained that, we would not have been here. Government once government purchased at 15 rupees per unit, now it is around 2.15. Honorable Minister told us. So investors have to be very patient. They have to look at the kind of ventures or the people who are identifying true technologies, who are there, who are doing, means if one of the investors have supported the companies which have matured, definitely institutional investor will come back again and again. The problem is for the first time funds or the first time entrepreneurs. So looking at the entrepreneurs, we see in the green space, they are very committed. We have a good mix of young and seasoned the founders. But then young, below 30 years you can find, and they are coming from various incubators like IIT Chennai or IIT Bombay, and they are doing good. So how to support them? How to support them is the question for the fund managers also, institutional investors also, because the risk is there. But then they need a little bit of capital. So these are all mix. We have seen that earlier also playing out. We'll see it again. Like I have told, solar we have seen maturing, and then the overall cost has come down. Similar way it will be the green hydrogen or the battery storage that we are looking at. So it will mature, but then yes, we need you. We need the companies, the economy, we need you. So help us grow, help us design something new, and help us contain the climate effect, whatever we are having these days.
Sir, my conversation can't be complete without this question, and maybe this is the last question. At Singularity, we have come out with a report which is on strategic autonomy, and we have identified 9 really large sectors where we are at maybe $5-10 billion, and those sectors have potential to go maybe up to $100 billion over the next 10, 15, 20 years. What are the top 3 sectors which you have in mind, which have really high growth potential? And it could be part of the whole climate theme, or it could be part of the overall India theme. So your views on that?
No, I'll be selfish. I'll not name the sectors because it will be not good for the other sectors. But yes, Singularity is doing very good. See, the problem with us is we have the missing middle. So the large companies, they have set everything. They are doing good and they have funding there. The smaller ones, they need little much of capital. So people are there, when VCs and different funds are there to support. The problem is between 50 to 300 crore kind of funding, where we don't find many people coming with the private capital. So thank you for providing, because the exit is also required. Unless we get the exits for these funds who are doing good at the early growth stage, Series A, B kind of, so it will not work. So we need more platforms like Singularity, and we have seen tractions. We have seen, like I have mentioned, from NEEF fund, we have seen the GICs and all. They are coming and they have given the exit also, and the companies are doing decent, extremely good in some cases. So I'll not go into specific sectors, but yes, anything related to climate is going to be there. Now the only thing is, something may come up within say 2 years, something may need 5 years, something may need 10 years. So you'll have to look at that. Please don't restrict yourself to one sector. Distribute it. Like our philosophy is, we have done in the agriculture also. So hydroponic agriculture also, we are doing, it's doing great. Because see, climate needs small bit of everything. So my request to Madhuji will be, don't restrict, go all out, whatever you can do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, IVCA, once again. It was a pleasure talking to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.